Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for the latest part of our dearly departed extravaganza. This is our round 14 review, but of course we are trying to follow Amazon across the 3 nights of this midweek round. So if you're looking for Leeds beating Palace or Norwich drawing at Newcastle, already done those games. We did them yesterday. So today, it is Thursday. It's 3 p.m. on Thursday, in fact, and we're looking at Aston Villa and Manchester City and Watford and Chelsea. They are our dearly departed games, of course. If you're new around here, our dearly departed teams, there you go, Leeds, Villa, Norwich, Watford and Brentford, the ones I covered in the Championship, and we continue to do so in the Premier League. So 2 games to look at right now. Before we do that, let's just say a quick thank you to Simon. Simon is our fan sponsor, got involved over on Patreon. You too can do the same. www.patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Our videos will always be free here on YouTube, but lots of lovely people donate over on Patreon. And in the God tier are people like Simon who actually sponsor a show. Simon says 25 years as a Bees fan. Finally, the bus stop in Hounslow in the Premier League. Thanks, Dad, for taking me in 96 when football was not such a priority as it is now. Thank you, as ever, to Simon. We're going to do his team, Brentford, tomorrow because the dearly departed are all stretched out over this midweek. But a couple of very, very difficult opponents for our boys, Villa and Watford in Manchester City and Chelsea. A couple of defeats, but it's not all bad. Let's get into it. So, over at Villa Park, a first defeat for Stevie Gerrard as Villa manager. He was 2 for 2 so far, wasn't he? Beat Brighton 2-0. Palace 2-1. I think they scored right at the end, didn't they? And yeah, 6 points out of 6. But Manchester City and Chelsea and Liverpool this season just look like they're in a little kind of stratosphere of their own. And some wins I kind of call muscle memory type wins. I think Paul Merson said it quite well. I heard him talking about it. He said when you win a title, you don't play well every single week, but you just get into the groove of winning. And this win felt a little bit like that for Manchester City. And some of the underlying numbers as it pertains to Villa, actually pretty good. There is Stevie Gerrard's third lineup as Villa manager. It's the 4-3-3 again, so we're looking fairly nicely sort of settled, aren't we? Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Mings, Target, Louise, Nakamba, McGinn, Bailey, Watkins and Buendia. So we've seen all types of permutations between Dean Smith now and Stevie Gerrard as to getting that front 3 going, or however it's going to work out, front 4 in a 4-2-3-1. But Buendia left, Bailey right, Watkins down the middle is where we are now. I'm sure it'll chop and change some more as we go forward. For Manchester City, Edison in goal, Cancelo, Diaz, Ake and Zinchenko across the back, Fernandinho and Rodri, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus. So, one notable absence from the first 11 was Jack Grealish, who of course transferred from Villa to Manchester City. And I don't know, sometimes you think Pep's just having fun, isn't he? Everyone thinks that'll be the big story. Nope, he's not going to play him and he's not going to put him on until the 87th minute. So Grealish was not the story in this game. It's a good first half for Manchester City. And I say they're out of sight. They're not really, because Villa do get their goal back on 47 minutes. And the second half looks a lot different to the first, where City getting themselves out front into that 2-0 lead in the first half. Now, I often get accused of being a dearly departed apologist here. Obviously, we skew slightly pro our 5 teams, but this is quite a lucky goal, isn't it, from Ruben Diaz. They get in down the left-hand side. The ball is cut back by Raheem Sterling. Ends up getting back to Diaz. And look at the body shape he's making. I think there's pretty much only one or two things that can happen for this to end up going in the back of the net. Either he can put out an absolute perler and bend it into one of the top corners, or he can get a bit of a nice deflection, and Bailey you can see closing in. And what happens, it deflects off Bailey's foot there, you can see. And that takes Mings and Douglas Luiz out of the game. And then it goes just the other side of Matt Target. He wafts his head at it, which means Martinez, you can see, he's already just peering to his right, and the ball then flies in to the left-hand side of Martinez, right into the corner. Yes, I acknowledge Manchester City are very good. Ruben Diaz is very good. Raheem Sterling's very good. All of that. But there is a bit of luck attached to this goal. I mean, we often talk about deflections and we say teams get their luck with deflections, but there's no real sense of Villa, cramming 25 men back constantly for this goal. It's the one guy closing down. It deflects off him and frankly takes all of those players there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 defenders and a keeper, out of the game, and Manchester City lead on 27 minutes. Now, if the first goal was lucky, the second goal was just absolutely brilliant by City. And I wanted to just freeze frame it there, because how they end up going from this position to scoring is beyond me, and it's quite the brilliant goal, I have to say. So you can see Villa there. It's Buendia and Douglas Luiz closing in on Mahrez, and they just overcommit, and that's all it takes against Manchester City. 2 of them go, and Mahrez is quite clever. He just slips the ball in between the two of them. You can see 25 is Fernandinho, and that's all it takes. Manchester City literally break the lines on the edge of their own box, and honestly, I counted the touches. This is just absolutely brilliant then. Fernandinho doesn't take a touch. The ball rolls into him, and he just knocks it into the channel for Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel Jesus takes 1 touch and then crosses it. So I think Mahrez has 1 touch. I think I'm right. Fernandinho has 1. Gabriel Jesus has 2. And Bernardo Silva for the finish has 1. There it is. He's arriving in the box. You can see they've got the run on the defenders. He's just in behind. It's a really, really good finish as well. There's nothing wrong with Martinez's position there, but I don't even know what you call it. It is a side foot volley, but he gets loads of power on it, and the ball comes across this way. He kind of swipes across it that way, which then spins it away from Martinez into the top corner with no small amount of power either. It's a brilliant goal, but there's a real sense in that first half. Look, I've got the numbers up. Yes, Manchester City were the better side. 5 shots on target to 1, 6 corners to 1. But only the 1 big chance forced. And there is a sense with the 2 goals and game state and everything and fine. 2-0 is 2-0. First one takes a deflection and the second one's an absolute worldie. It's not like Villa were constantly picked apart and City forced 10 big chances or whatever. That didn't happen, but they are still 2-0 up at half time. And sometimes it's what happens when you get these elite teams at the top of the league, and Villa, we think, somewhere in the middle, although haven't quite performed that for all of this season, have they? This is a great goal by Ollie Watkins, and it's really well timed, 47 minutes. I was at the Manchester derby, and Manchester City were 2-0 up at half-time in that game, and they literally just strangled Manchester United in the second half. They just kept circulating the ball, and I'm sure Pep would have said something similar to that. Look, you've won the game, clean sheet, keep the ball, don't give them any chances, and we go back to Manchester with a 2-goal lead. But Villa force a corner, and I don't think there's any kind of deflection on this. It's kind of hard to tell. It's the old Teddy Sheringham, Darren Anderton corner. Douglas Luiz puts it in, and Ollie Watkins. And if there is no slight nick on this, it's pretty much the perfect execution of this corner. You can see Douglas Luiz, he just takes a look out and he finds Watkins, who half volleys it, and he spins it inside the near post of Ederson there. It clips the near post as it goes in. couldn't have been any more accurate. And it's exactly what you want to start the second half. And when we look at the second half numbers, far, far more even. 2 shots on target apiece. 1 big chance to 0, which we'll no doubt come on to. So there is a sense that the trend in the second half was more towards Villa, certainly, than it was in the first half. Can I say it was more towards Villa getting goal number 4 in this game than Man City? I don't know if it's fair to say that, but Villa way, way more viable after that really flying start by Manchester City. And I suppose if Ezri Konsa's getting the touch on this, this will go down as the big challenge. You can see Watkins there, heads it across the box. And it's one of those, you can see all 3 players there, keeper, defender, attacker, all converge on the ball at the same time. Konsa, if he gets any kind of barely firm touch just to put it on target, will score because it will just loop over Ederson into the net. Konsa and Ashley Young were shouting for a penalty on the replays. I'm not sure. I think Konsa gets there first, and I think there's fair contact, really. I often get Formula One fans commenting saying they have a term in Formula One, racing incident, where, 2 cars might touch each other and 2 players might touch each other. I do think it's legal contact, and I think Konsa doesn't quite get there first and get enough on it, in my humble opinion. Let me know if you think different in the comments. And what a chance here. And we've had a couple of little hints of Buendia getting towards the player he was at Norwich against Palace for the McGinn goal. I think it's that. Am I thinking right? There's a lovely little ball on the run. It is that goal, isn't it? And then he gets squared across from McGinn, puts in the top corner. Brilliant play by Buendia. You can see he's on the deck there because he slid through a reverse ball to put, who is it? Chukwuemeka through on goal. And that's what Buendia did for Norwich. Game after game after game after game, he created chance after chance. Very, very good player at threading clever through balls in on the run. And that's what Villa bought him for. And obviously, Villa had a player who was very good at that in Grealish until he left for Man City. Look, Ake, you can see getting back and across, does a fair amount to put him up. It's a good save by Ederson, but it's a chance, isn't it? Late on in the game for Carney Chukwuemeka there. And that's all she wrote in this one. The numbers across the whole game have, they do skew in Man City's favour. There's no denying that. 64% possession, 17 shots to 9, 7 shots to 3 on target. Only 1 big chance apiece. Look at the shot map there. Okay, Villa didn't create a lot, did they? 0.78 on the XG. A lot of Man City stuff is an accumulation of low percentage chances rather than anything big. And I will go back to my earlier comment in terms of, and Steven Gerrard said this in his post-match, showed him too much respect maybe in the first 15, 20 minutes of the game. But I do maintain the fact the first goal is deflected and the second one's an absolute whirly. So it's not the worst performance you can put on a 1-goal defeat against these 3 top teams, with the caveat of the way the goals went in and those other 2 chances for Konsa and Chukwuemeka. So I may be being a massive dearly departed apologist there. Let me know if you think I am in the chat and you think Man City were, really solid winners in this one. But small picture, Villa were close, weren't they? Losing by 1, and the nature of the Man City goals is what it is. And big picture, this is far better, isn't it? The 2 straight wins and a viable performance against the top team, whereas, Villa had come from a 5-game losing streak. So I think things are moving in the right direction for Villa. And let's be blindly honest about it. We'll look at the table at the end of the show, but you don't define team seasons other than Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool in games against Manchester City, Chelsea and Liverpool, do you? I think they're just going to be out front with probably a reasonable gap between 3rd and 4th, you would imagine. Let me know what you think in the comments. Aston Villa 1, Man City 2. And our other nice, easy opponent for the dearly departed is Chelsea. And it was Watford 1, Chelsea 2. I have to say, bit of a similar story here. Our dearly departed team is in the game, and it feels like a bit more of a muscle memory victory from Chelsea. Get the job done, rhythm, win, 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 all of that sort of stuff. As opposed to, we've seen Chelsea tanking teams this season and beating them 3, 4, 5, 7 against Norwich, wasn't it? So, yeah, I don't know whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing. Obviously, we'd like points for our dearly departed team, but hey, viable performances, if you're not going to get points, are the one, because string together viable performances, the points will, in the end, follow. Here is what Dilly Ding Claudio has come up with for this game. Still no Ben Foster for Watford, and lots of Watford fans annoyed that injury came in a charity game, didn't it? So Backman may have the shirt for a bit now. Messina and Firmino looks very much like last season's back four, doesn't it? Ekong and Cathcart, stick Stirling in there, and it is, isn't it? Back four and keeper. Remember, Ekong didn't cover himself in glory with that mistake against Leicester, did he? Loser, Sissoko and Cleverley are 3 central midfielders. Emmanuel Dennis, who's kind of grown into the season. Now he's going to score again in this one. João Pedro and Josh King, which means, obviously, we mentioned Sierralta, but Ismaila Sarr, particularly call him the star player. Be a bit inconsistent, but I think he is Watford's star player when you add together everybody's attributes and probably resale value. For Chelsea, Mendy in goal. Chalobah, Christensen, Ruddock, Azpilicueta and Alonso. So Reece James and Ben Chilwell not around for this one. Chilwell is, I think he's out for the season, isn't he? Which is bad news. My England hat on. Loftus-Cheek and Niguez, who I remember signing and getting a bit of a chasing from Villa in his first game, didn't he? So he's back in the 11 now. Maybe a bit more acclimatised to the Premier League. Mason Mount, who's going to be very influential in this game, Pulisic, and Kai Havertz. Once again, and I don't want to read too much into this or talk about anything political or medical, but another medical emergency in the crowd delaying this game. They seem to be getting very, very frequent. That's a statement of fact, I think. I won't go into the whys and wherefores because I've heard all sorts of theories about that. You can comment on them if you like, but maybe we should probably stick to the football. I hear you all crying. Here, when I say crying, I don't mean crying. I mean, I hear you all cry. There we go. I'm not trying to upset everybody in the comments here. Good save by Mendy, first off on our pictures here. I thought it was João Pedro, initially number 10. And if you are playing the system Watford are playing with essentially wide forwards, Dennis and João Pedro, when that ball goes down the opposite side, get in the box. And João Pedro, who we think more of as a central striker than a wide forward, should be good at that. Comes off Azpilicueta, and I think Mendy always had it covered. It's a bit loopy, but it is a good save, and you can see he's most definitely at full stretch. Dan Backman is at full stretch here as Mason Mount goes in. He does well, actually, the keeper to narrow the angle. Mount tries to go around him onto the near post, smacks against the woodwork. Bit of a let off there, but they do go behind to a Mason Mount goal. Ranieri will be pretty annoyed with this one, I think, because everyone knows about Tuchel and the wing-backs and how Chelsea play. And Marcus Alonso takes up this narrow, high position. We know they're going to be that far up the pitch. And Firmino's obviously just got caught out, and that ball comes in, and he's in the box in space. He then pops that one across the box from the left-hand side to Havertz. You can see 29. Havertz has a touch. Then everyone's got suckered into the near post. Havertz Wide awake. Who used to say that? Ron Atkinson, the wide awake club there. Across to the back post it comes, and player of Mason Mount's quality. The England man. Look at that. Just get your technique, get your head over the ball. Good contact into the corner across the keeper. Chelsea lead. Annoying as well. 30 minutes into the game when you consider Watford were, let me just bring up the numbers, were pretty well. I'm looking at the old attack momentum graph I've got here as well. Up to that point, were very much in the game. Chelsea had one shot on target in that first half, one big chance. This, obviously, is it. But more from Watford in the first half, particularly here. That's Danny Rose arriving on the far post. It's one of those when you have a player like Danny Rose, a player who's not a regular goal scorer, where sometimes it feels like a token effort. Look, get the shot off, hit the target with it. You're not expected to score. He does kind of put it straight at Mendy. But we do get the equaliser just before half-time. Sissoko plays in Emmanuel Dennis. And I said, didn't I, Dennis is kind of growing into the season. And this is a good goal. And Ruddock is no mug, the centre-half. And frankly, he's made to look a bit of a mug here because Dennis takes him outside, inside. And that obviously means that he leaves a gap between his legs, and Dennis just plays it through the gap. There's a little bit of a nick on it, but I don't think the ball changes direction, so the deflection's a bit of a moot point. It's very good from Dennis, and I just got the numbers up here. 12 starts, 6 goals, 5 assists. That's excellent. Dennis, 11 goal contributions for Watford in the Premier League this season. Very, very impressive stuff. And, you got players like that putting up those kind of numbers in relegation battles, which we do expect Watford to be in ultimately. Pretty useful guy to have around. So well played, Dennis. 1-1 at half-time. And as I suggested, Chelsea only one shot on target in that first half. One big chance apiece. 9 shots for Watford, 4 shots on target. So you think, well, if you're a cynical football fan like me or some of the Watford fans might be, you think, oh, is that the chance gone? Should have put them away in the first half. Or you think, well, where's this pattern going? It leans quite nicely towards Watford in the second half. But no, annoyingly for our dearly departed supporters here, Ziyech gets the winner here on 72 minutes. It's Mason Mount. Again, similar position, that corridor, that inside left position that they sometimes get the wing-backs in, sometimes get the supporting midfielders. The TV pundits have been keen to make a lot of, like it's revolutionary, getting players forward and into the box, but that sort of 5 channels across the front that Tuchel seems to be known for. And, yeah, they get the goal from that. Again, 5 shots to 4 for Watford in the second half, 4 corners to 0. No big chances for Chelsea. This didn't go down as one, I guess, bodies in the way. But Ziyech, with that left foot, manages to stick in the winning goal. And again, look, muscle memory and all of that good stuff for Chelsea. It's a tight game. Look at that, 50-50 on the possession. Watford, 14 shots to 8. 6 shots to 4 in Watford's favour on target. 6 corners to 0 in Watford's favour. 1 big chance apiece. So, I suspect the Watford fans will speak to in the comments here will fall into 2 camps. One camp will be the glass half full of, that's a good go against one of these 3 teams that we think is going to be miles off in the distance and losing by 1 and sort of playing quite well. The other camp will be, you've got to get some points in a game like that. If there will be games against the big teams that Watford will probably lose by 2 or 3. I was at one. Watford lost 5 to Liverpool, didn't they? Where you don't get close. And when you do get close, can you take a point? Talked about teams threatened by relegation. When the circumstances and the game state are desirable, teams that stay up take advantage. Teams that get relegated don't take advantage. Maybe that's a moot point against the likes of Chelsea. But I think overall that point stands to reason, doesn't it? So, yeah, I'm kind of proud of Watford. A little bit proud's the right word. But, I don't know. Is it a missed opportunity to have taken at least a point? Another Claudio Ranieri derby. Played Leicester in the last game. 2 in a row. And could they have got more? Let me know what you think. Chelsea limited to 0.93 on the XG. And a lot of that padded in Mason Mount's first goal. Ho-hum. Bit irritated by that one, as you can see. Get your comments in. Do you feel the same as I do? Watford 1, Chelsea 2. So, there is the table now, and we've done 2 nights of the Amazon extravaganza. That will annoy the person who told me, put your slides up for longer. I always get ordered around in the comments. There we go. We'll put it up a bit higher. We will look now at Watford in 17th. They've dipped again back below a point per game. 13 points in 14 games. 4 defeats in 5. We are still in that horrible run we talked about that Ranieri inherited when he took over. So, can a win in the next 2 games would put them at 16 points from 16 games. That's got to be the target, and we'll look at fixtures and whatnot. There's still more of this week to do. For Villa, they're in 13th. Again, it's Manchester City. They're 2 above the point per game, and will be looking to bounce back going forward. I tell you what, I will do that. Let me just bring up the fixtures for the weekend just for these 2, and we'll see who they are indeed up against. Hey, if you're a Dearly Departed fan, you'll already know, but I have to keep across a lot of football. So Villa have got Leicester at home. Watford have got Man City. So, yeah, Villa perhaps with more of a chance of a bounce there. Just a horrible run of games for Watford. It's Man City at 5:30 on Saturday night. So maybe that is a moot point. Maybe they need to target the next game, which is against Brentford, which I'm sure they will. And maybe they can be at 16 from 16. Speaking of Brentford, if we look at the fixtures, they'll be our last Dearly Departed team to go tonight. They visit, as you can see there, Spurs at 7:30. Manchester United, Arsenal is the final game. I hope this has been okay doing it this way in 3 shows across the week. As I said, if I recorded everything on Friday morning, by the time we're on Friday and we're talking about games that happened on Tuesday, it's all a bit old news, isn't it? So that's why we're doing it this way. I hope that's all okay by you. So this is the continuation of round 14 review for Dearly Departed. One more thank you to Simon, who is our fan sponsor. You can do the same as Simon has done and get involved. www.patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. That is part 2 of Dearly Departed, and it'll be a far shorter show. Hopefully there's plenty to talk about and maybe some more points. 4 points for us on Tuesday night, 0 points on Wednesday. Can we get 1 or 3 points for Brentford tonight? Let me know what you think, and we'll have a look at that game early tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody, for watching the second part of Dearly Departed Round 14 review, and it's a lovely big over and out from me. Get your thoughts on both of those games and anything else you want to talk about in the comments. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.